Right, so post here is showing it warts and all, right? So we've got buy-to-lets, HMOs, serviced accommodation, and an apartment hotel, and I'm currently in said apartment hotel. And last night we had to get a guest removed by the police, and basically this guy was huge, Icelandic, 17 stone, all muscle, 6 foot, no fat, just all muscle, head, like if you were going to see a Viking film, that's what you'd imagine, hair pulled back in and not. It's definitely very, very drunk. But in the room, let me just show you the room, okay? And it's been tidied quite a bit, but just check out the blood in here. Okay. So it's on the floor, soaked through into the mattress, on the floor, splattered around, and I'm looking in the bathroom. There's toilet seat, bit broken, blood on the floor, etc. Last night when I came in, because the guest needed to pay to extend the booking, but wasn't, so I came to tell the guest he'd have to leave if he didn't pay. But at that point, I saw the state he was in, and I could just about see past him the state of the room. And we called the police. I also called the ambulance because I didn't know whether he'd taken an overdose because he collapsed and he was in and out of consciousness, etc. And then I could see a syringe. And so I called an ambulance. I also called the police because a big scary guy, and he was acting. He was could have been a threat, okay, to me or the staff or anything like that. The way he was behaving, very erratic, and mental health issues, I would suggest. Now, the blood that you were just looking at, listening to him being interviewed or the police asking him questions, he said that he was draining his blood, right? So not catching the blood in anything, draining it in anything, blood container, just letting it leak out on the bedding, on the mattress, or on the floor. So it's ruined quite a lot of stuff, right? Mattress is done, carpet's going to need a deep clean, a lot of this bedding and quilts and things is just going to have to be thrown out. And do you know it took hours and hours for the police to come. And this guy, obviously I know they were overwhelmed, so I've not an issue with the policemen themselves, just the lack of policemen or police officers. Thankfully, I'm going to say it was 2 men that turned up, because this guy was enormous. He stood up, tattoos everywhere, not that that's significant, but very, very imposing, covered in tattoos. Some of them a little bit, I don't know, you'd imagine a far right Nazi type tattoos, so a little bit extreme. And he basically squared up and said, if you don't get out of my room, there's going to be a problem. And at that point, the policeman didn't back down, and they went in and arrested him. So they've arrested him and decided to take him away. And then a little bit later, they were going to want to leave all his stuff. I said, no chance, because when he eventually released this guy, I don't want him coming and wanting all his stuff back, and God knows what state he might be in when he comes back to get his stuff, right? So I said, no, you need to take it. And so thankfully we got his stuff out, and an ambulance came, and he was taken away in the ambulance. But here's the thing. We've had damage before, and criminal damage, been arrested by the police, taken away. Police statements, they've caused the damage, caught them, etc., etc. And God knows it took about 10 months And the CPS, I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds, probably nearly 1,000. No, in fact, they smashed the telly up, so way over £1,000 worth of damage. And CPS dropped it. Okay, not going to proceed with this case. And guess what? Even though this guy, I mean, let me just show you as well. He's damaged the room in terms of he's pulled the curtain track off it as well. So even though he's caused us, I'm going to estimate 800 quid. Okay, replacing the mattress and other stuff, blocking the room off until we've got, so loss of earnings, etc. So call it about 800 quid. Even though it's open and shut that he's caused us that damage, speaking to the police officer, the CPS will drop it, because the other one was even more open and shut case, smashed telly that they admitted doing, etc. And the CPS didn't pursue it. And guess what? I think that's outrageous. Okay, outrageous. I mean, the guy, he's got fancy watches, etc. This guy, but he's just getting away with absolute murder, isn't he? And in this country, we're letting people treat hard-working business owners like this and get away with it. Is that okay? And I don't blame the police. I blame the CPS, because they've done it to us before and obviously doing it to other people. And we've been told that they'll do it to us again on this occasion. And so, yes, we're going to try. Okay. And we said, no, we want to press charges. And because if we drop the charges, right, then we wouldn't be able to claim. But we're not dropping the charges. We're going to do the right thing. It's a little bit like if you have to evict a bad tenant, you go after them. All right. And you don't give good references so that you can get rid of them to some other poor sod, right? You've got to go through the steps. However, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to be wasting our time because the CPS are just going to drop it again, which I think is outrageous. And I actually said to the copper, and he laughed. All right, he didn't comment, but he laughed when I was giving my statement. I said, you know what, the CPS, it sounds like somebody else is due a knighthood, right? Somebody else who's head of the CPS might be due another knighthood for the sterling public service that they are doing for the British public. Now, I wanted to just get that off my chest. I wanted to have a rant. I will show it warts and all, okay? It's not all roses in property and service accommodation and hotels. They walk among us, guys, don't they? People like this and guests like this. And unfortunately, we do all our checks and we weed out most of the bad people. We make our guests sign terms and conditions, provide ID, etc. Even though some of the OTAs are saying, oh, no, you don't need to provide ID. We just say, tough, either do it or you're not staying. But sometimes they still slip through the net and you get a bad one. And what we're going to do, we're going to roll up our sleeves and crack on and deal with it. But I'm just angry. I'm just angry that ultimately the policeman said that people come to this country and they know that they can get away with murder in this country, literally almost get away with murder, okay? And they wouldn't dare behave the way they behave in their own country. What do you think, okay? I mean, do you agree that it's absolutely outrageous what people are allowed to get away with, what some people get locked up for and prosecuted and other people don't? Right, and people that are released from prison for certain crimes, other people put in prison for tweets and things like that. This country really fucking pisses me off with this shit that's going on. Just thought I'd have a rant, get that off my chest. What do you think? Okay, am I right? I'm not going to end it how I normally end it. Property Soldier out.